Yo, 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 what's up, all you burner stoners and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there? Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
Fantastic.
I love it. Hey, all you vipers out there in the world, hopefully you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. Mrs. Weedman and I are about to get normal with Total Eclipse from the heart, grown by our friend Igneous. It is a slightly sativa-dominant hybrid, 60-40 sativa indica, strain created as a powerful cross of the insanely popular Bubblegum 95 with the Hindu Kush number 12 strains, with a moderately high average THC levels between 18 to 20% and a well-balanced effects. Eclipse is the perfect full-body strain for any cannabis user. The high starts with a clear-headed uplifted effect that leaves you jubilant and relaxed with deeply introspective concentration. You'll feel utterly at ease yet meditative, making Eclipse perfect for the day relaxing at home or light activity with friends. The body effects offer pain relief, but are not overwhelming and do not cause any loss of functionality. Because of these well-balanced effects, Eclipse is ideal for treating chronic fatigue, ADHD, ADD, mild to moderate cases of depression, and chronic stress. Eclipse buds have a deliciously sweet aroma, a fruit haze, and a taste of sweet vanilla fruit with a hint of smooth haze upon exhale. This bud has small to medium-sized, hairy, pebble-shaped forest green nugs that are covered with dark olive green leaves and fiery orange furry hairs. Each nug has a fine layer of almost translucent trichomes and a thick layer of sweet, sticky resin. And the effects are happy and uplifting, may relieve ADD, ADHD, depression, and fatigue. Flavors are fruity, sweet vanilla. The aromas are earthy, fruity, sweet, and vanilla. Thank you, Igneous, for always throwing to the cause.
Good stuff.
Yeah, we've been smoking this for a couple weeks now, too. It was a little wet, really wet when we first got it, so I let it sit in the jars. And it got better and better the last few weeks, and this is delicious. The high I like because it's a lower THC. You know how I feel about that. I like it because it's just really smooth. So while we're smoking, Mrs. Weedman's going to tell you about 8decades.com, and then Mr. Weedman's going to give you a little code to use for this holiday weekend. Tell us about 8 decades, Ms. Weedman.
Well, we are having a marketing meeting right now. So watch out for the sale to come. Anyway, 8 Decades is our cannabis lifestyle brand that we developed. 8decades.com is where you can find us. And we have all sorts of consumption goods, rolling trays, storage jars, steamrollers. We have hemp clothing. And we also have Mr. Weedman 420 swag.
Yay!
So check out our website at 8decades.com. That is the word 8, not the number 8, EIGHT.8. Wow, I can't even do a commercial. Wow. I need more of this. 8decades.com. And
I know WM420. You'll get 20% off for the Halloween weekend. You use that code.
Mr. Weedman is wrong. We will update you guys with something on our social media about our upcoming sale that we haven't yet had a conversation about.
Mr. Weedman just trying to give everybody some love out there in the world. Because you guys, as we always say, if you support 8decades.com, you support the show, and we get to do a show for you every week, which we love to do. So this is Weedman's baby, 8decades.com. Last week, I talked about some fun Halloween stuff. We talked about the week before that, too. We talked about some scary dolls, and then we also talked about some scary movies, and we talked about one cartoon, and I said I was going to talk about some more cartoons for you to watch this Halloween season. Halloween is this Friday. We air this episode on Thursday. It is Tuesday, October 28th. So you might hear this after Halloween, but save it for next year. Write them down. So let's talk about some of these, Miss Weedman. You might have remembered The Lonesome Ghost, which was Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, who are ghost exterminators over to the haunted house to drive them crazy. This was in 1937. But one of my favorite, another good one, was the Ichabod Crane story that they did too, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow in 1949. That as a kid scared the crap out of me, especially when the Headless Horseman came out.
Yeah. I never liked that.
No, you never liked that? It creeped you out?
Just too dark.
Lonesome Ghost, 1937. Broomsticks and Bunny in 1956. Bugs and Bunny with the witch. It was a creepy witch. Remember the
Yeah.
witch?
I
They
remember
laugh.
the image, but I don't
Yeah.
remember the story. What year was that? I don't
That
like.
was 1956.
Wow,
And then you have Hide.
56.
Yeah, and you have Hide and Go Tweet, which was when that
Yeah.
the Friz Freleng directed cartoon, arguably the best featuring character, Sylvester and Tweety Bird, when Tweety turned into a Frankenbird monster.
Yeah.
That was a good one. A real oldie, but a goodie. It's a short one, though. It's The Skeleton Dance in 1929 by Black and White Silly Symphonies cartoons with skeletons rattling their bones joyously, which was really good.
I remember
Um,
that playing when we were kids.
yeah. These are all old
Yeah.
cartoons. Water, Every Hair, when Bugs Bunny with the red, ugly-looking monster, and he did his hair and blew it up. As another one. 1952 Donald Duck one called Trick or Treat. That
I
was a
don't
pretty good
remember
one.
that.
I've seen that one. Night on the Bald Mountain. This was a horror one in 1940. Horror fans will. It's a points to the Fantasia movie, and it was a part in the Fantasia movie. It was pretty creepy too. Fantasia, the whole thing is amazing. Eat some mushrooms and smoke a lot of weed and watch Fantasia. I did on LSD and it was absolutely amazing. So, as we mentioned, 1966, The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Classic, The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993. And that was amazing. Amazing movie, right?
Yeah. I think I realized from you going through this list, the things that I don't recognize are the Disney cartoons, because we were like a Looney Tunes, Warner Brothers.
Oh, really? You didn't watch
We
all
were
the
always watching.
Man,
That was our Saturday
I love the Disney
cartoons.
ones.
Yeah.
Here's a really good one. It's newer, 2017. Coco.
Oh, that is
So
such a good
The
movie.
graphics.
Such a
and,
great
oh my
story.
God. Caroline, 2009. That was creepy.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a creepy one. Corpse Bride, 2005. That was okay. Frankenweenie, 2012. That was okay. Hotel Transylvania, 2012 with Adam Sandler. That was pretty good. Let's see here. Nope. Let's not talk about that. Monsters Inc. Not scary, but fun to watch with
cute.
kids. It's
Monsters,
cute.
yeah.
Yes, it's cute. Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island, 1998, as a newer one. Let's see what else here. Wendell and Wild. I don't know that one, but look at Wicked City is an old anime from 1987. That's a creepy one. That's scary as hell. So that lines up some of the movies you can watch this weekend for Halloween. With
James and the Giant Peach is
that was
not,
a fun one.
is
but
not
that's
a horror story,
No, not really.
those
a horror
ants
story.
were creepy. They were like nightmares. I
That was.
don't know. I think it could fall
It
into
could
the.
fall in. It could.
I think that could be worthy of
Could.
some nightmares.
What is something that you're going to look forward to besides the trick-or-treaters? Halloween is on a Friday this year, so we should have a lot of trick-or-treaters.
Yeah.
And here in Chicago, we haven't had the frost yet.
Right.
So, like the last couple of years, it was raining and kind of one year we had some snow, remember? The last few years, Halloween has been dookie with the weather. It's going to be 55 and sunny out.
On Friday.
So
it's going to be jammed.
yes, it's going to be a great Halloween.
I think we're just going to park ourselves in the driveway and some chairs.
Yes, smoke
with
some
a big
weed.
bucket of candy and some
go in the
joints.
back and smoke weed and come back out
Yep.
and hand out candy and have some fun. Are we going to put those silly costumes on?
Oh, yes.
Yes,
I think we should.
We have some silly costumes a friend of ours gave us. It's a box full of like costumes that were handmade from like the 60s or 70s.
Probably. And they're wacky.
Yeah, I have an elephant one that it's a
my
full
God.
body costume, and then it has the hood that goes up and has a big long trunk.
A bunch of Care Bears.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. So we'll dress up probably this year because.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we should since it's gonna be our last year.
Yeah. On the block.
Mm-hmm. So we are excited to have Halloween, sit out in the driveway, pass out candy, and dress up in funny costumes. We can change every hour too. It's kind of because we have like 12 different costumes.
we could keep changing and
We
confuse
do. We have
the kids.
we have a bunch of different costumes. So yeah, I think it'd be kind of funny to dress up. If you dress up in that Care Bear again, it'd be kind of cute with the little tail that wagged back and forth. Yes, I looked.
Yep. What does a Care Bear's butt look like?
I don't know. Ask Mr. Weedman. He'll tell you. You ready to get the show started before we go a different direction?
Yep.
Let's get going. How cannabis can help combat fall respiratory ailments. Mrs. Weedman knows all about respiratory infections. As long as I've known you, I think you've had almost one every year in 31 years of being together. So this article is laying up a topic you might not expect, but should absolutely know about: how cannabis can help combat those fall respiratory ailments. So fall is hitting. Crisp leaves, pumpkin spice everything, and yeah, all the flu, colds, congestions, coughs, and even the dreaded RSV. Season's moving in. According to the article from the Fresh Toast, autumn doesn't just bring cozy vibes, it brings a new set of health challenges. Now, here's where our favorite plant enters the scene. First up, non smoking options. If you're sick, hacking, coughing, smoking cannabis might actually irritate your lungs and make things a little worse. So, what do? Gummies, edibles, tinctures. These are even suppositories if you're in Alabama. There are some smooth rides. These let you ride the benefits without torching your respiratory system. Let's talk CBD and THC. Also, this article didn't mention some other ones too: CBG, CBC, THCV, some of my faves, CBN for sleep. It's more than just THC and CBD, but we'll go with what they're talking about. All right, so CBD and THC are what they bring. This article notes that CBD, the non-psychoactive compound, has anti-inflammatory properties. That means it may help calm swollen airways and ease the stuffy feeling. Meanwhile, THC can help the pain relief and sleep. Two big deal elements when you're down with the cold and flu. Sleep is when your body fights back. I got cotton mouth. Whew, man, that's bad. Speaking of sleep, quality Z's are essential. They mention that cannabis may help promote relaxation and improve sleep quality, which in turn gives your body the chance to recover while you're dreaming. So here's the bonus round: cannabis as an alternative to alcohol when you're feeling under the weather. The article shares that some folks are swapping out after work drinks for a gummy or an edible or a cannabis drink. Less booze means less liver stress, fewer calories, and less likelihood of the dreaded hangover when you're already achy. Anecdotally, evidence even suggests cannabis may help reduce alcohol consumption when used responsibly. So let's keep this kind of real. It ain't the magic cure all, though. The article stresses that cannabis isn't going to single handedly cure your cold, flu, or RSV. You still got to hydrate, rest, keep good hygiene, take some vitamins. Think of cannabis as a helpful tool in the toolkit, just not the whole kit. Here are a few tips for using cannabis smarter when you're under the weather. What's the biggest line? Start low and go slow, especially if you're new to the game. Choose formats other than smoking if you get respiratory stuff going on. Pick higher CBD or balanced CBD THC for inflammation and pain. Lean heavier THC if sleep is a major issue. Pair cannabis with traditional care, fluids, rest, maybe that cozy blanket, and a movie binge. All right, covers some of the key points, but autumn brings respiratory challenges. Cannabis, especially non smoke formats, can help with inflammation, pain, sleep, and possibly reducing booze. But respect the limits, treat it wisely, and use it alongside real world care or self care. I think that's pretty good because
I think
Mrs.
so.
Weedman has dealt with respiratory infections for a very, very long time.
Hmm.
Did you even get them when you were a kid, too?
Just allergies and sinus stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
When?
they always thought I had strep throat, but later realized that it was just from allergies, post-nasal drip.
Right.
I never had strep, but they could never figure out why I always had a sore throat.
Right.
Yeah. Fun time.
When you had the last one, you didn't smoke. You did a lot of tinctures and
Mhm.
edibles, and you
Mhm.
like double dosing on everything.
Mhm.
And did it help at least keep you in a relaxed state?
Yeah, because just any
The
kind of
coughing.
any kind of movement or changing in my breathing or like dry air, anything that would like just trigger a cough attack
Right.
and like a bronchospasm. And
Right.
then the more you cough, then the more you cough, and the more you cough, the more you cough, and then it just escalates. And it's just awful.
Right.
So cannabis really I found was helpful just to keep me relaxed. It was helping me, of course, sleep. It was, once you lay down when you have a respiratory infection, it's like everything settles and rattles around in your chest, and then you're choking and coughing. So you have to sleep kind of semi elevated to get rest. So it's not comfortable. Cannabis helps you through that
Nice.
big time.
Love it.
Yeah.
A lot of tea,
A lot of tea.
honey,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep. Black licorice,
Yep.
licorice root,
Yep. So Ms. Weeman's she's been dealing with it
oregano.
for a long time. Yeah,
Yeah.
oregano oil is great.
Mhm.
It's very hard to find, but
Oregarest is a brand, super
yeah.
good for respiratory infection.
Yeah, you took that before.
Yep. And then the respiratory health, medicinal teas, that's always good. Vitamin D I found
Mhm.
became quite helpful, year round, like just 1 vitamin D a day. What were we taking, like 2,500
Yeah,
milligrams or
25.
something?
I was at one point in the wintertime when you're not really getting as much sun, I take up
Double it.
I'll go up to
Mm,
double
yeah.
5,000. Now it's been suggested by some
Yeah.
people that have told me, like, double it as soon as, like,
It really
November hits.
I think it got us through flu season.
Oh, got us through
Yeah.
COVID too. Even though we had
Yeah.
COVID, I felt like the next time the first time we had it, we just I mean, all of a sudden, boom, you got it. It was like, "Holy shit." I got it, like, right when it hit. So I didn't, like, do my research as fast as I needed to, but once it was over, I did research on what to do to combat all that kinda stuff, and remember, man, we went
You
to
had a whole yeah,
whole kind of
natural
concoction.
health,
Yeah, which I
holistic
still do to this
yeah.
day. About 80% of that stuff. Yeah,
Ginger,
all of it.
lemon,
Yeah, so much.
honey,
So,
manuka
if I
honey,
showed you my countertop, if with all the stuff I take, you'd be like people would be like, "Damn!"
spirulina,
Yeah, all of it. I mean, there's so much I take. I probably take
probiotics,
Mhm.
prebiotics,
Oh, man, I take beetroot,
elderberry,
beetroot.
turmeric,
If I showed you my list of spices and herbs that go into my morning shake that herb mix,
ginseng.
oh my god, it's insane.
It's great. I'm, like, in, like, a really, like,
I
low-key mellow
I
from this
have to
weed.
say,
It's nice.
Igneous, it's been
It's
16
nice.
minutes and 43 seconds since the show started, and around 14 minutes, boy, I was like, "Ooh."
I'm, like, a slouch.
Yeah, I was like, "This ain't no sativa."
Yeah, I think it is supposed to be a little
It's a
uppity, right?
60/40,
Yeah.
so but they said it's more of a mellow. It's not
But I've
like
had this during the day too, and I
yeah,
felt more uppity. Maybe we both just needed to chill out for a
yeah,
minute.
maybe. Got
Yeah,
excited.
yeah. We got some news in the coming months that we'll
Yeah,
share with
we'll
everybody.
share
It's
soon.
all good.
Yep, a lot of fun.
It's all
We're
good.
so excited.
Can't you tell? Yeah.
So I gotta ask you a question.
Yeah, you
Where
do.
have all the mild flowers gone?
Well,
Tell us about it, Ms.
all
Weedman.
right. Young adults are told to beware of high potency cannabis, yet, when they walk into a dispensary, that is almost all they find. The market has become a competition of numbers, THC percentages climbing like stock tickers, potency sold as prestige. There were choices once offered in jars of fragrant flowers, lavender, citrus, pine, hay, spice. These have all been replaced by an endless monotone of heavy handed highs. Elderly consumers who might seek gentler relief for aches or the comfort of a familiar ritual are left stranded. Where is that mild varietal that recalls an afternoon garden, the smoke that relaxes without disorienting? Where is the option to enjoy cannabis as a companion, not a conqueror? Even younger consumers who crave community and conversation find little accommodation. They do not want to be knocked flat after a single puff. They want to linger, share, laugh, have an experience closer to sipping wine than downing grain alcohol. But the system is not designed for them. Society waves a finger, beware of the strong stuff, and the industry shrugs and says, it's the only thing we sell. Regulations reward what can be quantified and monetized, the highest THC number on the label. Industry follows that incentive, producing products that grow even stronger, ever less diverse. Consumers are caught in a paradox. The warnings are everywhere, yet the alternatives are nowhere. This is not a new story. Tobacco, once a genus of abundance, included an estimated 70 spices, all native to the Americas.
Species.
Ah. Yep. Species. Yep. Several of which were historically smoked, chewed, snorted, or even drunk. That diversity has been stripped away. Today, the market is dominated by ever more concentrated and convenient formats, culminating in vapes that deliver nicotine with pharmaceutical precision. Alcohol tells a similar tale, though with a few more hopeful twists. Beer and spirits still span a wide spectrum, though not as wide as they once did. Regulation made highly pure spirits a sustainable reality. Whiskey, often sold straight from the barrel, was adulterated by unscrupulous merchants with cheap spirits or toxic substances. Laws and standardization brought safety, but it also transformed whiskey into an everyday commodity. Copyright and trademark protections created virtual monopolies over certain drinks, while homogenizing what had once been a riot of local styles. The modern craft beer revival suggests that a consumer appetite for nuance can return. Opioids illustrate the point more starkly. For much of the 20th century, their use was carefully tiered. Codeine for a cough, morphine for surgery, heroin once disastrously prescribed as a safer substitute. Then came fentanyl in the 1950s, created not by cartels, but by a doctor at his startup Janssen Pharmaceutica, which was later absorbed by Johnson and Johnson in 1961. He was driven by the ambition to design the most potent narcotic analgesic possible. Fentanyl's origin story underscores the uncomfortable truth. It was regulation and the pharma marketplace, not the Sinaloa cartel, that pushed opioids to their modern extremes. In each case, tobacco, alcohol, opioids, the middle ground eroded. And in each case, it was regulation, not the illicit market, that pushed products toward greater purity and thus potency. Legal frameworks tend to simplify and standardize, rewarding what is measurable and marketable, which often translates to stronger. And cannabis is following that same path. The moderate, the flavorful, the low dose flower, the session beer of cannabis has vanished. In its place is a monoculture of ever stronger products, optimized not for experience, but for numbers. And yet, science tells us that less can often be more. Large doses of pure cannabinoids are consistently linked to adverse effects: anxiety, paranoia, cognitive impairment, disrupted sleep, even paradoxical increases in pain. Lower doses, by contrast, often strike the sweet spot with far fewer risks. The best deals for consumers and the best outcomes for public health come not from chasing THC percentages, but from embracing moderation. It is time to re-educate cannabis consumers. The best deal in cannabis isn't the highest THC percentage. The best deal is the product that gives you the most enjoyment, the most relief, with the fewest side effects. That generally means lower potency cannabis. Cannabis is not a hurricane, where more force means more cleansing. It's not a blunt instrument where stronger equals better. That is a market failure. Public health officials warn of potency while dispensary shelves offer little less. Young adult consumers seeking sociability or elderly patients seeking relief, and everyone in between, are denied the option to choose products aligned with responsible use. If lower potency products were widely available, people could consume more responsibly and decrease their use more easily when they want to. That's not just consumer preference, it's a public health win. Think of it like beer. Not every day calls for a 14% triple IPA.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Most evenings call for a Pilsner, a light beer.
Yes.
Yeah, a lager.
Yes.
Products designed for sociability, moderation, and steady enjoyment.
So good comparison.
Cannabis should offer the same spectrum: products to savor, not just endure. There is a wide open market opportunity for cannabis companies willing to reclaim that middle ground. Develop flavor first, low potency product lines, terpene rich flower at 5 to 10% THC.
Yes. Talking my
Consider
language.
balanced blends of hemp and marijuana, and session joints designed for sociability rather than obliteration.
Mm-hmm.
Brand them for experience, emphasizing aroma and taste, not just potency. Such products meet consumer demand for moderation, satisfy regulators calling for safer options, establish a more sustainable cannabis culture, and are aligned with clinical research on cannabis products, which will consistently show better outcomes with low to moderate potency products. Consumers deserve better.
Mhm.
Young adults deserve choices that don't feel like Russian roulette.
Yep.
Elderly patients deserve products that soothe without overwhelming.
Mhm.
Social users deserve flower that creates space for laughter, not silence. Until regulations and industry incentives shift, the market will continue to flatten cannabis into a one note symphony of strength. But the demand for balance will not disappear. A folk song once asked, "Where have all the flowers gone?"
Mhm.
Hmm. In cannabis, the answer is brutally simple. They have been bred, regulated, and monetized out of existence. The path forward requires something equally simple. Bring them back in lower doses, with richer aromas and the promise of responsible use without punishment. That's what I'm talking about.
Rolling Stone with a banger.
Yeah.
Banger. How long have I been talking about that?
Yeah.
How long have we been doing this show?
Yeah.
Almost 7 years?
Yeah.
Six and a
I mean,
half
wouldn't it be
years?
nice just to like have a you know what I just said the other day? I feel like I don't even get the well, we're oftentimes smoking high quality flower, but the flavor issues that I'm having are because of my medications that I'm on. So
Right.
it alters my ability to smell and
And
taste.
yeah.
But the head effects, I think that I'm kind of just at this level where I feel like I need a tolerance break because I'm not getting the euphoric benefits
Right.
of
Yeah, it
the high
happens.
anymore.
We
I
took a
feel
we
high,
took a
but
24-hour tolerance break,
it
and it was
makes a
miserable,
difference.
though, trying to sleep. Everything else was fine,
Right.
but it was miserable trying to sleep, because we're so that
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Yeah.
you did not
I
stop
cannot
tossing
take a
and
tolerance break
yeah,
for
for
bedtime.
bedtime. You do, uh, go strictly CBD
Yeah. Yeah.
for a minute, maybe with some CBN, get a CBD, CBN,
Yeah.
just do
Just a
minor
super low,
cannabinoids,
yeah.
stay off the THC for a week, and just do minor
Well,
cannabinoids for bedtime.
yeah.
You can go online and there's
Yeah.
many companies that are doing that now.
Play around
So,
with that.
yeah, and just take a week off and see what
It's just
happens.
helpful because just to reset your tolerance a little
Right.
bit, because then you get all those pleasurable little
Things that I love
things that
about weed.
happen when you're stoned.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, a TB break is always good.
Mhm.
No, I mean, we've talked about that too, but we've been talking about what, uh, Rolling Stone just put in that article. We've been talking about this for a very long time. Give me the 5-10%, give me the
Mhm.
14% with other minor cannabinoids in there, heavy on the flavor.
Get the giggles.
Right.
Yeah.
Give me that kind of stuff that where I don't go to a fucking sit at a concert and I don't want to leave the seat for 2 hours because
Yeah.
I'm just so baked, which is fine. It has its purpose and there's people that need it and there's people that like it. But I like it. I don't want to be in my head when I'm out in public, but I want to be high. There's
Mhm.
a difference,
Mhm.
and I don't want to be stuck sitting in a chair like at a bar, like not
Yeah.
talking to anybody.
Yeah.
That's the lame part
That's
about it.
not fun.
That's why drinks are doing so well out in the market right now because they're 5 milligrams, and you could drink a 2 or 3 of them and drink 50 milligrams and you're good. If
Mhm.
you or you know drink it like a low ABV alcohol, and you don't have to get fucked up. Getting fucked up is no bueno. It's just not. You make stupid mistakes when you
Mhm.
get fucked up. So here's something really cool, especially for someone who was a cigarette smoker for a very long time. More Americans now use marijuana than smoke cigarettes in
Hmm.
this new study.
Wow.
Amazing. So here's the saga. A brand new study from the State University of New York and University of Kentucky dug into the numbers from 2015 to 2023. They pulled data from the National Survey of Drug Use, Health, NSDUH, to measure adult use of only cannabis, only cigarettes, and both together. Here's the key stats that got me. Cannabis, only past 30 days, users went from 3.9% in 2015 to 2015 to 2019 to 6.5%, then up again to 10.6 in 21 to 23. Meanwhile, cigarettes only use dropped 15% in 2015 through 2019, then 12% and fell to 8.8% from 21 to 23. That's big. So, co-use cannabis and cigarettes didn't spike huge. It stayed relatively stable. So yeah, for the first time in this big data set, more people are just using cannabis than just smoking cigarettes. That's wild when you sip on it. Now let's unpack why the shift is probably going down. Why the change? The author suggests shifting perception of harm. People see cigarettes as more dangerous than ever, and cannabis is more normalized. Also, legalization and accessibility. With more states legalizing recreational medical cannabis, it's easier to obtain, socially becoming acceptable, which seems to parallel the rise in use. Tobacco control efforts have been strong for decades. Public anti-smoking campaigns, higher prices, etc., aligns up with a drop in cigarette use. Um, so what this all means. On one hand, folks might view cannabis as a substitute for cigarettes. The study mentions a substitution effect. Some people may be choosing cannabis instead of tobacco. On the other hand, heads up, the study author sounds the caution horn. They say without timely policy response, cannabis may become the next public health crisis. The reason? Use frequency, product potency, route of consumption, vape, edibles, flower, population groups, all these variables mean the risk profile isn't neat and tidy. Even though cannabis has therapeutic potential, they stress heterogeneous effects by administration mode, potency, use frequency, intensity, and population. So here's something to keep in mind. Just because cannabis use is rising doesn't mean we know everything about the plant yet. So as Paulie always says, smoke smart. We talk about this a lot on the podcast. Understand your mode of use. Vaping, edibles, flower, very different experiences. And frequency matters. Just like smoking cigarettes every day adds risk, heavy, frequent cannabis use carries its own health baggage. Legalization plus normalization don't automatically equal safe. Regulation, education, harm reduction are key. If you're using cannabis instead of cigarettes, that might be the next win. But you still got to monitor yourself, know your limits, stay informed. And as always, infrastructure matters. Access, quality control, and third-party testing. Knowing your source, that stuff counts. So here's to sum it up. More Americans now use cannabis than smoking cigarettes. A big shift in substance use trends, driven by changing norms, legislation, harm perceptions. But with that shift comes new questions. Are we ready to address potential risk? Are our public health systems catching up? You bet we're talking about that in future episodes, and we learn more, we'll share more. Right, Ms. Weedman?
That's right.
So here's another good one. Frequent marijuana use is tied to lower risk of liver disease from alcohol, this new study finds.
Yeah.
Tell us about it, Ms. Weedman.
Yep. Frequent use of marijuana is associated with a reduced risk of developing liver disease from alcohol, according to a new study. In fact, people who meet the criteria for cannabis use disorder, or CUD, showed lower risk compared to both infrequent cannabis users and those who don't consume marijuana at all. The novel study, published this week in the journal Liver International, better get on board with that one, analyzed rates of alcohol-associated liver disease among 66,228 patients from 2010 to 2022. A team led by researchers at Virginia Commonwealth University put patients into one of three categories: those with CUD, who are clinically defined as being dependent on marijuana; infrequent users of cannabis, or CU; and non-users. In this propensity-matched cohort study of patients with AUD, cannabis use was associated with a reduced risk of ALD, with the greatest risk reduction seen in patients with CUD compared to CU and non-CU, the study says. Our findings suggest that modulation of cannabinoid receptors may offer a new target for the development of pharmacological therapies for ALD. How about just give them weed? Based on previous research focusing on CBD, the study authors theorized that the non-intoxicating cannabinoid could be a driving force behind this medical association, though its clinical use remains limited. After adjusting for various factors, the study findings suggest that the cannabinoid system may represent a promising therapeutic target for ALD. Specifically, the researchers found that cannabis use is associated with a 40% hazard reduction in the composite ALD, including alcohol-associated steatosis, hepatitis, fibrosis, and cirrhosis, as well as a 17% reduction in hepatic decompensation and a 14% reduction in all-cause mortality. While our findings suggest a potential protective association between cannabis use and ALD, this must be interpreted with caution, given the well established health risks of cannabis, including psychiatric disorders such as schizophrenia and cognitive impairment. The observed protective association of cannabis was consistent across the ALD spectrum, even among patients with lower cardiometabolic risk profiles, it said. Furthermore, the inclusion of both positive and negative control outcomes strengthens the internal validity of the findings. Given the expanding body of experimental data supporting the hepatoprotective properties of CBD and its favorable safety profile, further studies evaluating its impact in ALD using appropriate dosing and treatment duration are both justified and warranted, the study concluded. On a related note, a study published earlier this month found that nearly 4 in 5 adults who drink cannabis infused beverages say they've reduced their alcohol intake, and more than a fifth have quit drinking alcohol altogether. Meanwhile, on the list of activities that Americans say is dangerous for pregnant women to engage in, using marijuana falls below drinking alcohol or smoking cigarettes, according to a new poll. And marijuana use is linked to lower alcohol intakes and diminished cravings in heavy drinkers, according to a recently federally funded scientific paper. In a study earlier this year, scientists at the University of Sydney published a paper investigating the theory that non intoxicating cannabidiol could mitigate problematic drinking issues. The research, published in the journal British Journal of Pharmacology with funding from the Australian National Health and Medical Research Council, found that CBD represents a promising candidate to reduce voluntary alcohol consumption. According to a federally funded study published in the journal Nature earlier this year, CBD has potential to treat alcohol use disorder by reducing withdrawal symptoms and lowering the risk of relapse while also providing neuroprotective effects. The results of that study underscore CBD's potential therapeutic utility for alcohol use disorder and provide mechanistic insights into its actions, they noted. This also comes at a time when younger Americans are increasingly using cannabis infused beverages as a substitute for alcohol, with 1 in 3 millennials and Gen Z workers choosing THC drinks over booze for after work activities like happy hours, according to a new poll of 1,000 young professionals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Political state and business news. Former Will Flanagan, ex-mayor of Fall River and owner of cannabis shop, was stabbed twice in the neck outside his dispensary last Monday night. He is in serious but stable condition. Cops say the attacker has been caught. Motive still a little murky. Stay safe out there. And remember, the streets don't always play nice. Big heads up for Massachusetts Green Scene. 2 ballot petitions titled An Act to Restore a Sensible Marijuana Policy have been certified and are on track to gather the 74,574 signatures needed to put the repeal of the adult use cannabis market on the 2026 ballot. Massachusetts, what are you doing? What are you doing over there, Massachusetts? In Virginia, adults can legally possess cannabis, but not retail sales yet. That would change based on November election. Abigail Spanberger supports building a regulated market, while Winsome Earl Sears opposes retail launches, citing safety concerns. Either way, the vote next month could unlock the shift from legal to buy to legal to walk and in purchase. The major alcohol industry just weighed in on the hemp game. The Wine and Spirits Wholesalers of America is lobbying Congress to regulate hemp-derived THC drinks instead of banning them. They're pushing for standards, labeling, and state-level oversight, telling that hemp beverages deserve the same respect as booze. Stay sharp. The regulations could move and reshape the whole market because they're making money on it. Alcohol, beer sales, liquor sales are down, in some markets down big time. And cannabis beverages, where we saw what happened with beer, wine, and liquor, you had that next wave of what they call RTDs, ready to drink drinks, alcohol in there, so people didn't need to go buy a bottle and make their own drinks. They were there free in cans, right? You had the seltzer spike, the RTDs, and now it's the next best thing or the best thing. cannabis drinks,
THC. Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Going to be a $5 billion market coming here pretty quickly. And now you have liquor companies and you have wine companies and you have the first cannabis beverage asked to come to the liquor forum and be a part of the group, and because they're going to make billions. They see it. It's the
Oh,
next
it's going
wave.
into like the big box stores, right?
Target
Yeah.
is the first in Minnesota. There's another one now. I'll talk about it a little bit later. In Los Angeles, 2/3 of licensed cannabis shops owe the city a staggering $400 million in back taxes. With over 500 of 738 businesses delinquent, the city is proposing a tax amnesty plan, but only expected to recover a fraction of that. How about you don't recover any of it? Because you're destroying that industry in California. In West Virginia, lawmakers collected a whopping $34 million from the medical cannabis program, but $0 have been spent so far. The holdup: federal law still classifies cannabis as a Schedule I drug, so the state's playing wait and see with the bank accessing funding rollout. Stay tuned, it's wild green money limbo. $34 million can do a lot of good for a lot of people in your state, West Virginia. Use it to help with the opioid crisis that you had there many years ago and help people use it for your state, for the people. That's what it's there for. All right, we got to talk about small farm dreams in California and the fabled Humboldt County, the OG of weed culture. The tiny cultivators who built the game are getting squeezed out after legalization. Rising fees, stacked regs, big companies bulldozing the market. Yeah, they vow to protect the athletes, I mean growers, but the script flipped. Stay tuned. The story is far from over. On the horizon, the Omaha tribe of Nebraska is kicking off its first ever Cannabis Commission meeting. Yay. I'm so excited. They're set to swear in 5 members, appoint officers, and dive into rules for medical and adult use cannabis on tribal land. Since legalizing back in July, they're moving fast, aiming to the real oversight, sovereignty, and regulated industries that works. Good for you, because that governor there can't do nothing about it. And that lieutenant governor can't do nothing about it because all they're trying to do is stop what's going on. They're not even going to let people get flower on the medical side of things. They hate weed. They don't want nothing to do with it, but people are going to come. Build it, and they will come. Yay. In Washington, D.C., 76-year-old Josefa Ippolito Shepard won a landmark court case against her neighbor for smoking weed too close to her home. The spell made her gag, and court agreed. Her right to peaceful living outweighed his once-a-day puffing. This one could reshape how neighbors handle cannabis smells nationwide. Oof, terrible. The Rhode Island cannabis regulators just approved a timeline to award 24 new adult use dispensaries license, kicking off applications through December 29, 2025, with possible awards in May of 2026. It reserves spots for social equity applicants and worker-owned co-ops, so the playing field is getting real. Stay tuned, the market is about to get fresh. The Illinois Department of Agriculture and Division of Cannabis Regulation just heard a major pushback from infusers, craft growers, and transporters over proposed rules that would let infusers produce concentrates or pre-rolls. Concerns also span licensing fees, lab standards, hemp or minor cannabinoids, and transport logistics. The IDOA says the conversation's just starting. Stay tuned. The industry's in the thick of change. And Jason from Illinois News Joint, man, you're always coming up with the bangers for here in Illinois. You keep me much informed. Appreciate you, brother. Big loss. Terrence Allen, longtime San Francisco cannabis and LGBTQ plus icon, passed at age 72. He went from growing for AIDS patients to co-funding one of the first dispensaries, then chaired San Francisco's legalization task force. His goatee, earrings, and bold spirit made him unforgettable. Movement got heavy because of folks like him. Rest easy, legend. We've talked about him on the show, one of our 420 shows, remember? I think it was like our second one or our first one. We did a list of all people that helped get cannabis in California and across the country where we're at today. Brownie Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he was from the Bronx, New York, too. That's why I liked him so much, too. The Food and Drug Administration is reviewing a petition warning that hair testing devices for cannabis can yield positive results from secondhand smoke, not actual use. The concern? People could be wrongly labeled as users facing job or legal trouble over mere exposure. Stay wise and keep those rights in check. In New Jersey, cannabis consumers feel like they're on hold while the gubernatorial candidates barely say, hey. Mike Sherrill and Jack Citrelli have a long list of issues to address: high prices, no home grow, medical program lagging. The message: time to drop the smoke rings and actually listen to us. Because yes, we vote too. We do. Now, passing the joint over to Mrs. Weedman.
In a second, I just had to have another hit.
Smoke break.
Smoke break. Timing was off. Here you go, Mr. Weedman.
Everybody, hit your bong, smoke your joint.
Bong rips. All right. I've got some more political, state, and business news. Starting with Michigan, lawmakers are moving to cap dispensary licenses. What is going on with Michigan? And they're going to freeze new grow ops, one shop per 10,000 residents, and none in smaller towns. Okay, that's like probably half of the state. Consumers overall could see fewer spots, and smaller cities could lose tax revenue and jobs. Looks like the state's rewriting the green game rules. Meanwhile, still in Michigan, the state's House pulled together a 4-bill package aimed at tightening the screws on black market weed and reshaping legal possession limits. House Bill 5105 and House Bill 5107 would slap felonies and hefty fines on big illicit grows, while they plan on raising legal possession thresholds for concentrates and plants. Big moves in the convenience store world. Circle K is diving into the cannabis space by partnering with Iverson, yep, the former NBA star, and horticulture company to bring hemp-derived THC beverages to approximately 3,000 stores nationwide in 2026.
What did I say
Yep.
earlier?
Initial rollouts?
Right? What did I
Yeah,
say earlier
yeah,
about the wine companies?
yeah.
And who do you think's distributing
Right.
this? You know, it's going to be beer and
Beer and
wine or
wine.
liquor
Mhm.
distributors too.
Yep.
They're all making money off this now. It ain't going nowhere.
Right. They're
'Cause
not
now
going to
you
get
have them
yeah.
involved. Circle K,
If
Target,
the if
lobbyists now,
here
money.
you got to think about this, and you have a little insight coming from that world. Liquor, a lot of people don't realize liquor can't be directly distributed. Someone makes liquor, whether it's beer, spirits, wine, whatever. You're the manufacturer of that product. You cannot directly sell it
Three-tier
to
system.
anybody. So it has to go to a distributor or a wholesaler, and then that person distributes it to the final retailer.
Right.
So for any of those distribution hubs, these big distributors, they cover miles upon miles of beverage distribution.
Oh, yeah.
Halves of states. Sometimes the same family owns multiple distributions throughout a state.
Also trucking too.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge.
Mhm.
So if these, yes, and trucking, because these products are going to have to travel around state to state. If these companies, if these distribution hubs of alcohol are willing to get into this game, they checked all of the boxes and made sure that this was going to be a long run and they weren't going to get shut down for it. Nobody got into this lightly. So it is just a sign to me that hemp-derived product is not going anywhere.
Nope.
And if anything, THC should just join the cause.
Yep.
Okay, so 3,000 stores nationwide will be selling Iverson's THC beverages. How did he get to be the lucky one?
Former NBA star.
Yeah,
One of
got
the best,
some
one
money
of the best
monies.
ever.
Yeah. Nationwide in 2026. The initial rollouts will start in North and South Carolina and Florida. And over in Philly, doctors at the Rothman Orthopedic Institute say more patients are ditching opioids and reaching for medical cannabis instead. A 75-year-old with chronic pain reports better sleep and fewer side effects. The message they're sending? Small doses of THC plus other cannabinoids might bring relief without the risk of opioid use. It's an interesting shift in pain care. And the U.S. Department of Justice has asked the U.S. Supreme Court for more time before weighing in on whether folks who use cannabis can legally own guns under federal law. The case looks at the constitutionality of 18 U.S.C. 922 and could shake up both marijuana and Second Amendment rights. Minnesota just got inked another big one. Governor Tim Walz signed a new tribal state cannabis compact with the Fond du Lac Band of Lake Superior, Chippewa. The deal boosts cooperation on regulation, public health, and economic growth while honoring tribal sovereignty. With several compacts already in place, Minnesota's cannabis market is shaping up to be one of unity, respect, and opportunity. Some real partnership vibes going on there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
A coalition of cannabis companies just petitioned the Supreme Court of the United States, asking it to revisit the federal ban on marijuana, arguing that since so many states have legalized it, The old legal reasoning may no longer apply. This move could shake the foundations of the green game nationwide, so stay tuned because a big wave is coming. Texas, they just amped up their medical marijuana game. The Texas Department of Public Safety adopted new rules that will boost dispensaries drastically, from just 3 to 12 new licenses statewide in the first round. Providers now face tighter security rules and accountability standards. The rollout kicks off in December, so Texas patients stay ready because relief is on the way. In South Dakota, medical marijuana advocates are sounding alarms after a state committee invited mostly out of state prohibitionist speakers to critique their program. They're worried the panel might be prepping to roll back access, even though patient cards are already issued. It's a wild moment, so stay tuned. This fight is for real. Over in Montana, Greg Gianfort says they're stepping up the big game on addiction crisis. After nearly 800 overdose deaths between 2020 and 2024, with 43% being due to fentanyl. The state's plowing in $300 million for behavioral health, booting the Heart Initiative, and expanding treatment via Medicaid. In 2021, Gianfort spearheaded the Heart Initiative, healing and ending addiction through recovery and treatment, which is funded with revenue from weed. He's telling folks one pill can kill. The fight is intense, but the action is real. So it's back over to you, Mr. Weedman.
Thank you, Mrs Weedman. New York's legal cannabis world hit a snag. Regulators found that Long Island-based Omium Health allegedly rented its license to unlicensed ops, possibly letting unregulated products slip into the market. $30 million under investigation. Retailers are stuck with unsettable inventory. Consumers are asking safe, and the state's scramble to restore trust begins. Big drama in NYC. Insurance coverage for medical cannabis in the U.S. is still a dream, not reality. A new reimbursement program called Elevated States may offer about $175 per month for MMJ products and doctor visits in some states. But full health plan insurance? Nope, nada. Thanks to federal prohibition and lack of FDA approval. Stay hopeful, but keep your wallets handy. Bipartisan squad of 39 attorneys general is calling on Congress to clarify the federal definition of hemp in light of a booming hemp-derived THC product spilling into the marketplace. They claim the 2018 Farm Bill wording got twisted into allowing Frankenstein's cannabinoids, Delta 8, THCA, you name it. They're demanding action now, so keep your ears open. This could reshape the hemp game. Big tech shakeup. Cannabis Technology just received notice of allowance from the USPTO for their contact-free breath analyst device and method patent. Think contactless breath testing for cannabis and beyond. Ready for workplaces, vehicles, and kiosks. This could be a game changer in safety and detection. Stay tuned, science is getting a little slick. In Florida, a 3-judge panel of the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that federal laws barring medical marijuana patients from owning guns may violate the Second Amendment. While the case on hold awaiting the U.S. Supreme Court's decision, the challenge shines a bright light on the clash between state legal weed and federal gun bans. Stay tuned, big implications ahead. In Maryland, roadside THC detection use more than doubled after adults use weed became legal in 2023. Even though drivers with cannabis in their systems rose, traffic deaths haven't jumped significantly. The takeaway, legalization changed habits, not necessarily outcomes. So stay sharp out there, everybody. In Minnesota, the rollout of adult-use cannabis business licenses is taking its sweet time, and some winners are already flipping their license instead of opening up operations. Regulators still have finalized approvals, and while the system drags, secondary license transfers are happening. I heard for like almost $1 million. Keep your eyes on Minnesota because the game is far from finished and the market clock is still ticking. In Arizona, a cannabis brand issued a recall after labs tested flagged possible contamination with the fungus Aspergillus in vape cartridges. Regulators say the batch under investigation and consumers check their labels. If you got it, pull it out. That's a reminder, even in the legal green scene, safety checks still matter. Stay lit and stay smart. In Ohio, THC drinks and intoxicating hemp sales scored a reprieve. A judge extended a ban block until December 2nd. Governor Mike DeWine banned targeted hemp THC products. But for now, the market stays open while the legit fight plays out. Just remember, rules might be paused, but the game is still rolling. Big update out of Kentucky. The full cannabis cycle. from cultivation to dispensary is almost locked in. Andy Brasher says over 21,000 certifications and 15,000 patient card holders are in place. Cultivators are prepping for first harvest, and processes are about to get inspected, meaning dispensaries could be open soon. Kentuckians, your moments are coming. Relief is on the way. New study from the University of Michigan finds about 22% of young adults use cannabis or alcohol to fall asleep. With cannabis, 18% outpacing alcohol, 7%. Nice. In Missouri, a new attorney general is moving a crackdown on unregulated hemp-derived THC beverages, citing health and safety concerns, especially where kids might buy them. No age rules and minimal testing have regulators sounding alarms. If you're in a hemp drink game or just using them, watch the radar. Things might shift fast over there. And that is political state and business news, everybody. Now, Reginald Reefer,
Mhm.
another good article. Two of the fastest growing segments of the cannabis world are Gen Z women and people over 55 and up. Fastest growing. So Mrs. Weedman is going to talk about the Silver Stoners, a no-nonsense guide to cannabis after 60. Tell us about it, Ms.
Yes.
Weedman.
Well, there's quite a revolution happening in cannabis culture, and it's not being led by college kids or festival goers. It's being pioneered by retirees and people who spent decades believing everything the government told them about marijuana until they finally decided to see for themselves. I've been fielding more questions from older adults about trying cannabis for the first time than from any other demographic. These aren't reckless experimenters or rebellious youth. They're people in their 60s, 70s, even 80s who are dealing with arthritis, insomnia, chronic pain, or who simply want to explore something they were too afraid to try during their working years. Some are curious about the medical benefits they've heard about, others just want to check it off their bucket list before it's too late. What strikes me about these conversations is the thoughtfulness involved. Older adults approach cannabis with a level of caution and preparation that younger users often skip entirely. They ask about drug interactions, dosing protocols, and long term effects. They want to understand what they're putting in their bodies and why. This isn't recreational experimentation, it's informed exploration of a substance that might genuinely improve their quality of life. The challenge is that most cannabis advice is written for young, healthy users who can tolerate high doses and recover quickly from overconsumption. The stakes are different when you're 70. Your metabolism processes cannabinoids differently. Your tolerance is zero. Your medications might interact with cannabis in ways that younger users don't even need to consider. And let's be honest, greening out, experiencing anxiety, paranoia, and overwhelming intoxication from too much THC is miserable at any age, but it's particularly distressing when you're older, alone, and unsure if what you're experiencing is dangerous. I've spent considerable time researching this topic, consulting with older cannabis users, and studying the physiological differences in how aging bodies process cannabinoids. What I've learned is that cannabis can be remarkably beneficial for older adults if approached correctly. The endocannabinoid system doesn't disappear with age. If anything, supplementing a depleted system with plant cannabinoids can provide significant relief from age related ailments. But this requires a fundamentally different approach than what works for younger consumers. Higher doses aren't better. Faster isn't better. The strongest product isn't the best product. For older adults, the key to positive cannabis experiences lies in patience, preparation, and understanding that less is genuinely more. This article distills the best advice for anyone over 60 considering cannabis for the first time, whether for medical relief, recreational enjoyment, or simply curiosity about what all the fuss is about. So let's get into the essential guidelines and what actually works for older adults. We'll start with the non negotiable foundation. Talk to your physician before trying cannabis. I know, this sounds like the boring disclaimer everyone ignores, but it's genuinely crucial for older adults. Cannabis interacts with numerous medications, particularly blood thinners, heart medications, and drugs metabolized by the liver. Your doctor needs to know what you're planning, not to judge you, but to ensure you don't create dangerous drug interactions. If your physician is hostile towards cannabis discussion, find a new physician or consult with a cannabis specialized doctor. Medical marijuana programs exist in most states, and cannabis friendly practitioners can provide informed guidance without the stigma. This isn't about getting permission, it's about getting accurate information about your specific health circumstances. The second principle is start low, go slow, and wait. This isn't metaphorical advice, it's literal protocol. For inhalation, smoking, or vaping, this means one small hit, and I mean genuinely small, like inhaling for 2 seconds and waiting a minimum of 10 minutes before considering another hit. The effects of inhaled cannabis manifest within minutes, reaching peak intensity around 30 minutes. If you're not feeling it after 10 minutes, you can take another small hit. If you rush this process, though, you'll overshoot your comfortable dose and spend hours in unpleasant territory. For edibles, the protocol is even more conservative. Start with 2.5 milligrams of THC maximum and wait 2 full hours, not 45 minutes, not 90 minutes, 2 full hours before considering taking more. Edibles are metabolized through the liver, converting delta 9 THC into 11 hydroxy THC, which is more potent and has longer duration. The onset is slow and unpredictable, varying too, based on metabolism, stomach contents, and individual physiology. The most common edible mistake among new users is taking more because it's not working, and then getting absolutely demolished when both doses hit simultaneously. One Reddit user recounted his 90-year-old father taking a gummy alone, then spending the entire night awake, anxious, and sweating, a thoroughly miserable experience that likely prevented him from ever trying cannabis again. This is the scenario we're trying to avoid. There's no antidote for too much THC except time. Once you've taken too much, you're committed to riding it out for hours. So prevention is the only cure. Method matters enormously for older adults, too. The consensus from experienced older users and cannabis educators is clear. Inhalation provides better control than edibles for first time users. Within this category, dry herb vaporizers are superior to smoking or cartridge vaping. Here's why. Dry herb vaporizers heat cannabis flower to temperatures that release cannabinoids and terpenes without combustion. You're inhaling vapor, not smoke, which is significantly gentler on aging lungs. Temperature control allows you to dial in your experience too. Lower temperatures around 350 to 370 provide more clear headed functional effects, while higher temperatures like 390 to 410 produce more sedative body focused effects. Devices like the Dynavap G3 cost as little as $35, while more advanced options like a Storz and Bickel Venti or a Riser Solo 3 offer precise temperature control and excellent vapor quality. The chosen cannabinoid profile is crucial too. Don't just grab the highest THC flower or the strongest edible. For first time or older users, you like that? First time or older users? Type 2 flower or ratio flower, or commonly called like a 1-to-1 or balanced flower. That's ideal. It contains roughly equal amounts of THC to CBD, typically around 5 to 10% of each. CBD doesn't produce intoxication, but it modulates THC's effects, reducing anxiety and providing a smoother, more manageable experience. The presence of CBD creates a gentler introduction to cannabis effects while still providing therapeutic benefits. If you're using flower for inhalation, look for strains with total THC between 15 and 20%. Modern cannabis often exceeds 25 to 30%, which is unnecessary and potentially overwhelming for new users. Lower THC doesn't mean ineffective, it means controllable. And set and setting. We talk about this all the time here on the show.
Yep.
It is really crucial. Cannabis amplifies your current mood and environment. A comfortable, familiar setting with a trusted person present is essential for first experiences. Don't try cannabis for the first time when you're stressed, anxious, or in an unfamiliar environment. Choose a day when you have no obligations, nobody is expecting you to drive anywhere, and you can simply relax and observe what you're feeling. And have supplies ready: water for dry mouth, light snacks for the munchies, and something to occupy yourself like music, a favorite movie, or a comfortable outdoor space. Many older users report that cannabis enhanced their appreciation for simple pleasures they've taken for granted. Listening to music became a more immersive experience. Food tasted more vibrant. Conversation became more engaging. Understand that what goes up must come down, and THC intoxication is temporary. Even if you take too much and feel uncomfortable, you're not in danger, and the effects will pass. For inhalation, peak effects last 1 to 3 hours with a gradual decline, and for edibles, effects can last 6 to 8 hours. Knowing this provides reassurance when you're in the midst of an experience and wondering if this is your new permanent state. It's not. Trust that everything will return to baseline. And if you do find yourself too intoxicated, CBD can help counteract THC's effects. Having CBD oil, capsules, or flower on hand provides a safety net. Lying down in a comfortable space, drinking water, and using breathing exercises can also help manage anxiety or discomfort. Cannabis isn't merely an intoxicant to be passively consumed, it's an enhancer of experiences you're already enjoying. Older users report that cannabis made activities more engaging. Bowling became hilarious. Miniature golf turned into an adventure. Watching comedy specials became side splitting funny. And simple walks in nature felt revelatory. This is important because it reframes cannabis from getting high to enhancing life. For older adults, particularly retirees who have extensive free time, cannabis can make mundane activities feel like fresh and interesting ones again. One 60-year-old user on Reddit described retirement with cannabis as the best thing I've ever done, explaining that cannabis helps manage the aches and pains of aging while making everyday activities more enjoyable. So, consider non intoxicating cannabis consumption. This is advice many people overlook. You don't have to get high to benefit from cannabis. Raw cannabis contains THCA and CBDA, the acidic precursors to THC and CBD, which are non intoxicating, but provide an anti inflammatory, neuroprotective, and other therapeutic benefits. So, juicing raw cannabis leaves
Favorite.
or adding them to smoothies delivers these compounds without psychoactive effects. Similarly, topical cannabis products like creams, balms, and patches can provide localized pain relief without any intoxication. These work through cannabinoid receptors in the skin and don't enter the bloodstream in significant amounts. For arthritis, joint pain, or muscle soreness, topicals offer therapeutic benefits without altering consciousness. Hemp derived CBD products, which are federally legal, and available nationwide, provide another non intoxicating option. Quality CBD can help with anxiety, inflammation, sleep issues, and general wellness without producing a high. This might serve as a stepping stone for older adults curious about cannabinoids but not ready for THC. Consistency matters more than intensity. Many older medical cannabis users find that low, regular doses work better than occasional high doses. Microdosing, which is consuming low dose amounts of THC that don't produce noticeable intoxication but provide therapeutic benefits, has gained traction among older populations. This means maybe 2 to 3 milligrams of THC are taken daily, or a single puff from a vaporizer in the evening. The goal isn't to get high, it's to maintain a baseline level of cannabinoids in your system that supports the endocannabinoid system's regulatory functions. So explore different consumption times and contexts. Some older users find that cannabis before bedtime eliminates insomnia and provides deeper, more restorative sleep. Others prefer afternoon use for pain management without sedation. Still others use cannabis socially, finding that it facilitates conversation and laughter with friends and family. There's no single correct way to use cannabis. The right approach depends entirely on your goals, preferences, and your response.
Mhm.
Don't fall for dispensary hype over THC. Bud tenders are often your best advocate, but they may not understand the needs of older consumers. They might recommend products that work for high tolerance users, but are completely inappropriate for beginners. So be explicit about your situation. Tell them, this is my first time. I'm 60, 70, 80 years old. I want the lowest effective dose possible. Reject recommendations for 100 milligram edibles, ultra high THC flower, or dabs or concentrates. Those products are not designed for low dosing and new consumers. Then, it's also a great idea to track your experiences. Keep a simple journal, noting what you've consumed, like the strain, the amount, the method, when you consumed it, how long effects took to manifest, what you felt, and how long it lasted. This data becomes invaluable for refining your approach and identifying what works best for your body and goals. The Reddit thread demonstrated something powerful. Older adults who've successfully integrated cannabis into their lives want to share their experiences and help others. So look for senior cannabis groups, online forums, or community meetups. Hearing from people your age who've navigated this same journey provides reassurance and practical guidance that younger consumers simply can't offer. Whatever you do, don't forget, it's never too late to explore. Cannabis represents a genuine opportunity for improved quality of life in older adulthood. The research increasingly supports what many seniors are discovering firsthand. Cannabis can effectively manage chronic pain, reduce inflammation, improve sleep quality, stimulate appetite, reduce anxiety, and provide cognitive benefits for certain neurodegenerative conditions. But these benefits only materialize with the right approach. Older adults who jump in without preparation, take excessive doses, or fail to consider their unique physiological circumstances often have terrible first experiences that prevent them from ever trying again. So, this is tragic because it means they are missing out on something that could genuinely help. So reject the more is better mentality that pervades cannabis culture. You're not trying to get as high as possible. You're looking for the minimum effective dose that provides benefits without overwhelming intoxication. This requires patience, careful dose titration, and a willingness to proceed slowly, even when your younger friends or bud tenders tell you to just eat the whole edible. It's okay. The medical community
No.
is slowly catching up to what patients already know. Cannabis has therapeutic value for aging populations. More physicians are becoming educated about cannabis medicine. More research is being conducted specifically on older users, and the social stigma continues to decline. If your doctor dismisses cannabis without discussing potential benefits and risks, that's a doctor problem, not a cannabis problem. For those considering cannabis for the first time later in life, you're not alone. You're not doing anything wrong, and there's no age limit on trying something new. Whether you're chasing bucket list experiences, seeking relief from chronic conditions, or simply curious about what cannabis feels like, approach it thoughtfully, and you're likely to have a positive experience. Find your people. The older cannabis community is growing rapidly, and they're eager to share their knowledge. And once you've found what works for you, pay it forward by sharing your experiences with other curious adults who are where you started. Cannabis isn't a miracle cure, but it's a remarkably safe, versatile plant medicine with thousands of years of human use behind it. Used intelligently and appropriately, it could improve your retirement years in ways you never expected. And in a world that often tells older adults to slow down, stop exploring, accept decline, choosing to try cannabis or anything new, it like a hobby or a new life experience, is an act of defiance worth celebrating. Welcome to the Silver Stoner Revolution. Take it slow, enjoy the ride, and remember, it's never too late to discover something that makes life a little better.
I mean,
Isn't that the
this
truth?
whole show has been about the older adult uses, basically.
Yeah.
The silver stoners.
Hmm.
I mean,
And, that same Silver Stoner, how he's talking about it from like a more holistic,
yeah,
medicinal, therapeutic
yeah,
approach.
yep,
You could still have those silly nights too. Like
yeah,
once,
of
but I
course,
think I've always said it's so important to get to understand how you feel. And the
yeah,
only way to understand how you feel on cannabis is really to start out with low dose. So you don't have those bad moments.
mhm.
You're a little bit stoned and you're like, oh, okay.
And also
This is
somebody who's
this is how it
experienced
feels.
too, to do it with somebody who's experienced, so they can
Mhm,
guide you through
mhm.
what you're feeling at
Yes,
times. Like
because it just feels weird because you don't know what the feelings are in the beginning.
right,
Yeah,
yeah. So
um,
it's important.
but you can
Yeah,
learn to enjoy them. Trust me.
yeah. Reginald Reefer with another banger.
Yeah.
International news, big ups to Africa's green surge. Last week we talked about Kenya and Nigeria. Much love. In South Africa and Zimbabwe, which we have listeners there too, the cannabis boom is real. But here's a twist. While wealthy investors rinse and repeat, the small scale farmers who've grown this plant for generations are getting shut out. Boo, because they probably got the best weed. High startup costs and strict regulations are the gatekeepers. The boom here, but the roots are still in the dirt. Canada sales are lighting up revenues in Manitoba, beating out liquor and lottery.
Hmm.
Crazy. Hey, fresh data from up north. Canada's legal cannabis market hit a new all-time high in August with 498.7 million in retail sales, up 1.4% from July. Solid growth compared to what last year's boom. The lifts come from more stores and cheaper flower, nudging consumers away from the illicit side. The greens tides steady, just pacing. Big move in Europe. Zurich has applied to extend the legal cannabis dispensary pilot program. Zurich can from 2023 by 2 years to 2028. With 2,300 participants and 750 kilograms of legal products sold, officials say it can be already pulling CHF 7.5 million from the black market. Smart research first approach, Zurich. How about just make it, man, just go all the way. All the way. Do it. Big move in Germany in medical cannabis space. The regulatory just raised the import limit by 70 tones, bringing the cap around 192.5 tones to meet rising patient demand. While these signals heavy growth, Berlin's also drafting tighter rules. No more purely online prescriptions or mail orders. Big supply, big rules. Stay tuned. Europe's green game is shifting a little fast. Gustavo Petro, Colombia's president, just dropped a bold pitch. He's telling Donald Trump to legalize cannabis, open up exports, and ditch the old prohibition playbook to fight the illicit trade. Petro says if the U.S. handles consumption and Colombia handles production legally, the black market might actually shrink. Wild move. Diplomacy meets ganja. Hurricane Melissa is barreling through Jamaica. To all our stoners, burners, and potheads in Jamaica and all of Jamaica, a Category 5 beast with record winds, massive storm surges, and big questions for the island they're going through right now. The eye is just like probably just passing. It's like probably just getting to the other end. And it was 185-mile-per-hour winds. It's the island's legendary cannabis scene, tourist scene. Cultivators and resorts are bartering down the hatches. Power's already been out, and communities rallying hard. When the green smoke clears, recovery is going to ride the same waves. Stay safe out there, Jamaica fam. We love you and we're praying for you. So hopefully you're there. And then it hit Haiti too, and it's
Yeah.
going to go right up through Cuba. And who knows where it's going to go. Hopefully it goes right out to sea. But praying for all those islands there because they're all getting hit with something, whether it be heavy rains, heavy storm surges. I mean, right now I think Jamaica was getting like 13, 14, 15-foot storm surges. Yeah, that's nuts. So praying for all those islands. Make it through this. Got our love and prayers, okay? Over to you, Mrs. Weedman, because here it is, a new art series and mural unite cannabis, visual, and musical artist. Tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman.
Want some?
Sure. Pass it over. Thank you.
Yes, a stunning portrayal of heroes and advocates in the form of an art series was recently unveiled, showcasing a 120-foot mural in Miami. The Cannabis Advocate Portrait Series, a tribute in light, loss, and liberation, debuts on December 1st, combining 3 musical artists, visual artists, and themes of advocacy. The series is presented by Goldflower Cannabis, a fast-growing vertically integrated medical cannabis company based in Florida. The collaboration will highlight the work of acclaimed contemporary artist John Wagespack. The series is rooted in personal loss, as Wagespack's mother battled Parkinson's disease. She would have likely benefited from medical cannabis, as CBD and THC are being explored for treating symptoms of Parkinson's, such as tremors and rapid eye movement sleep disorder. Cannabis breeders are also zeroing in on potential applications for Parkinson's. The series, which will debut as a monumental 3-sided mural at Goldflower's Miami flagship store this November, reimagines legendary cannabis advocates such as Bob Marley, Willie Nelson, and Ella Fitzgerald. Wags Pack fuses elements of painting, photography, and digital media into the series. It also highlights visual artist legends Gustav Klimt, Kenny Scharf, and Wengechi Mutu. Wagespack's art pays tribute to these artists, as well as the music icons who also serve as advocates. The Cannabis Advocate Portrait Series extends this universe into a realm of cultural reverence. Each portrait reimagines an icon through a symbolic artistic lens, as described by the artist. The first one was Prophet Marley Klimt, a radiant homage to Bob Marley, channeling Gustav Klimt's sacred gold symbolism to portray the musician as both prophet and divine messenger, embodying the Rastafarian belief in cannabis as a sacrament of liberation and love. The second was Legend with Willie and Sharf, a vivid psychedelic celebration of Willie Nelson's lifelong advocacy, blending the joyful surrealism of Kenny Sharf with Nelson's country authenticity to honor cannabis as both protest and poetry. And the third was Advocate Ella Mutu, a lush, luminous portrayal of Ella Fitzgerald inspired by Wangechi Mutu's hybrid organic forms. Fitzgerald emerges as a matriarch of sonic healing, her image blooming with rhythm, rebellion, and regeneration. Wake's Pack explores what he calls the RGB universe, which is a concept rooted in red, green, and blue light that recognizes digital technology. The visual arts are varied, coming from different eras. Klimt, whose Art Nouveau masterpiece was stolen by the Nazis in 1941 and sold for a record $135 million in 2006. Sharf came from another generation, hailing from New York City's East Village. He helped to define urban art. And acclaimed Kenyan artist Mutu frequently incorporates the female body into her work. His work transcends art. It's a narrative of liberation, legacy, and light, says Goldflower Cannabis President Angelo Lombardi in the announcement. We're honored to bring this vision to life and to continue our mission of celebrating the creative and healing power of the plant. Similarly, the music artists featured created immeasurable impacts, sometimes overlapping with cannabis. Several of Bob Marley's children and grandchildren, for instance, are involved with cannabis and hemp businesses. Goldflower has opened around a dozen locations around Florida, with more to come. To learn more about this art series, you can visit their webpage.
Nice.
Yeah.
The Bob Marley artwork is
Pretty cool.
awesome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see the other two, but they highlighted the Bob Marley one on the article. So, Mrs. Weedman,
Mr. Weedman.
that's the end of the show.
Yep.
Got anything else to say before we go?
Everybody have a great week. Get some trick-or-treating. Make sure you get some Milk Duds and Almond Joys and enjoy them.
Which one's got nuts?
Mounds. Don't. I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory, right? Almond Joy.
I just wanted to make sure you knew.
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts.
Mounds don't. We're nerds, everybody. Even she would never want to be a nerd, but Mrs. Weedman's got her
I'm a
nerd.
nerd.
She's a nerd too. And nerds live longer.
Live on, nerd.
There you go. Hey, everybody out there, we love you. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate all the love, all the comments, all the support on 8decades.com. We really love you out there. And stay safe, everybody. Be kind to one another. As Paulie always says, smoke smart, puff, puff, and away.
Puff, puff, pass.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.